Relax and get loose while I put you up on game. The Figure Booth with Josh and Nate. This that podcast for those in the know. Batman vs. Iron Man, how would it go? We talking one of a kind, collectibles. Mezco toys are respectable. It's unacceptable if it's not in the packaging. Nate don't take pics if you ain't rapping it. Nate's dirty tricks are always happening. But damn it, man, don't you be stressing. Round here we believe in plastic confessions. We trying to figure out the figures that's gonna stand the test of time. That G.I. Joe handmade hit me in the spine. There's perfection in the way that these toys are made. But I also wanna know, do I pick Wade or Slade? So this is where I come to kick it with the guys. The Figure Booth. Like, comment, and subscribe.
What is up? Welcome back to another episode. You've made it. The hostess with the mostest. I am your host, Josh, aka Prime to the First.
And I am the host with the least most, Nate, aka FigureFan_Nate. And you've reached episode 41, which we're calling The Grind Volume 2.
Volume 2.
This seems like a similar topic. It's a Volume 2. Yeah. I think we talked about the grind once before, didn't we, Josh?
We're people, I mean, us collectors or just people in general, we should always be grinding. But what was our previous grind?
So our previous grind was actually back in April of 2021. Yeah. So almost a full year ago now.
Nice.
It's crazy that we've almost reached a year, by the way. Me and Josh started this podcast in March of last year.
Uh-oh.
So we'll have to do something special for the year celebration. Yeah.
Shirts
maybe
off.
A few shirts off.
Shirts off.
Get oiled up. I'm gonna, totally shave. Yeah. We'll have some epic guests on, hopefully.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to plan something special because that's cool. I was just realizing that as we're talking about this episode.
That's pretty cool.
But in our original episode, The Grind, we talked about like the grind in collecting. So challenges and goals that we all face in collecting, and your goal that you want to have for your own personal collection. So now it's a new year. How have your goals changed? Do you have new goals? And then making sure that you do have a goal in place if you don't, because if you're collecting without some kind of goal in mind of what it is that you're trying to achieve, like I want to have the full set of DC Mezco figures, or I want to have all the Mafex comic line, whatever the case is, whatever your goal is, you got to have something that you're kind of working towards with your collection. Otherwise, I think you can get a little out of control with just acquiring this or acquiring that, or something, where you're not really staying that focus. And I think the focus is so important. So, new year, new lines.
Yeah.
We got new movies. We got new figures coming.
Yeah.
It's a lot of new going on.
Yeah. New beefs, everything. We're excited. And there's a
lot of stuff.
New year, new beef. But there's a lot of hype coming in, and it's coming in pretty strong, which we're already starting the year with Sentinel, Peter B. Parker. We got Legends coming in strong. So there's everyone's, I feel like, back in it. And a lot of shots are going to be coming down the pipeline, that is exciting. So I know that we've talked about in our lives, you've been diving into and going strong on a new line.
Yes.
What's that done? What's that done for you as a collector?
So we're talking about Mythic Legions, and I resisted it for really, really long time. Kept telling myself, no, because when I first started collecting, my original interests were like comic figures.
Yeah.
DC heavy. Every once in a while, you throw in a Marvel figure. I'm a big Marvel lover. I just don't shoot a whole lot of it. I think people that maybe view my page are like, this guy must hate Marvel.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's what Prime thought. That's the first thing he asked me. He's like, hey, by the way, I know you're getting an arcade, but do you hate Marvel or something? Like, what's your deal?
I was like, why do you hate Marvel so much?
Yeah, because Prime is a huge Marvel guy.
Yeah.
That's his bread and butter, and DC's kind of mine. And we both dabble in the other, but we're just not as heavy with it.
Yeah.
So going back to that, like my original thought for my collection was really like, I'm going to do comic figures, and I'm going to try to stick with DC mainly and sprinkle in Marvel. And that's kind of what I've been doing for the last few years. But there is that other side of me that really likes fantasy and, you know, just kind of all of that stuff, like medieval warriors and just kind of like demons and all that kind of stuff. I just really never let myself dabble into it.
Yeah.
So legions have always kind of been on my radar. I just told myself no, because that was, you know, not part of my focus. It wasn't part of my goal at the time.
Yeah.
Now that I am deciding to go into the line, I'm changing up my goals. So I think this episode is pretty timely for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm sort of shifting focus a bit and getting out of certain things, or maybe limiting myself on certain lines a bit more, like Mezco. I'm probably going to start limiting how many Mezcos I get, or which ones I get, you know, being much more selective.
Yeah.
Mainly, you know, you just can't keep up with Mezco anymore. It's just too much stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, just, I'm still going to have that collection side of me, but you got to make room for legions. So I'm trying to look at lines that maybe I'm not collecting as heavily as I thought I would, or stuff that I've sort of lost interest in a bit, to make room for the legions to come into play.
Nice.
So, but you know, that opens up a whole new avenue, I think, for me, not only from a collection perspective, but also from toy photography. It's going to be a new challenge for me to do shots with legions, because I don't have a lot of background with that kind of stuff. You know? So I'm going to have to really get out of my comfort zone, which is something that I've been wanting to do.
Yeah.
I get very comfortable doing the same stuff that I've been doing, and I do try to innovate myself, but there's a whole side of, I think, figures and also scenes and backgrounds that I could be exposing myself to that I'm just kind of afraid of, because I've just really never approached it. But as we've talked about before, you need to have more tools in your tool belt. And that's another tool in my tool belt I could have, being able to do outdoor shots indoor. I don't really have a whole lot of setups like that.
Yeah, so. And diving into like a new line like Legions, I think for any collector that's diving into something new, you automatically start thinking of different setups. There was a time where I was just heavily focused on like, I need shots with a bunch of guns and blood effects, and I started acquiring a ton of arsenal, and I have like all sorts of different weapons, and then it got to a point where I started shifting my, I don't know, like focus or skill towards something else, because I was seeing that other pictures that were more comical, or they had different props involved. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like that's got my attention. I like the pictures where it looked like a comic panel, or there was a, you know, Punisher shooting a bunch of baddies. That's cool. But then I would see like really like, there's a couple of photographers out there that come to mind, but it's just like when you're adding in the props and you have like Wolverine having a beer or something, I'm like, oh, now I need a cooler. Now I need a TV. Now, like, there's so much that's out there. And then I went heavy on that. So, you know, I think all of us, we go through this these phases and evolution of like, our photography is just heavily focused on imitating comic books, right? Or imitating movies. And then we go and we kind of find like our signature, where it's comical or it's certain lighting. A lot of times you see like, some of us go heavy into like customs, and every shot has to have like a customized figure or something like that. So right now it's cool, and you get to see, you know, you discover new accounts. And I think when I was dabbling in photography, that's how I came across a lot of accounts where now, you know, there's these new great relationships where they're sharing tricks and they're showing you how to do it, or they're showing you how to manage your camera, and, you know, new tips on that. So I think having a new line or diving into something that you've never dove into, and you find it that, hey, it's maybe a new line that I've always wanted to try, or it's a new character that I don't know nothing about, but I'm gonna reach out to somebody and have them educate me on it. And then that's where the friendships really blossom. So like for me right now, I'm going back to Joy Toy. They're dropping a lot of new stuff where it's the Warhammer stuff, and I know Playing With Myself has been showing that off. They're showing new mechs, and I'm like, damn, I'm gonna have to go heavy on some. And I've picked up some of them that are headed my way, and I'm excited because they're a smaller scale, and it opens up the window to new opportunities, new creativity. So that's what I'm pumped about. And I'm get to find all these other Joy Toy accounts, or 1/18 scale accounts. You know, not specifically Joy Toy, but 1/18 scale audience and the community.
Yeah, because I know that Joy Toy is something that you've kind of dabbled in here and there, but you've always been like, you know, maybe not as heavy.
Pull it back a little bit, and now I'm just like, maybe I'm rolling up my sleeves and I'm going in elbows deep first. See what's up. Yeah.
Well, that's cool though, because I know it's one of those things that you kind of have to do that sometimes if you're really going to start investing into a line. You can't just like, I mean, you can pick and choose stuff,
Yeah.
but if you really want to get into a line, you kind of have to go hard sometimes.
Yeah.
And just really start discovering what it has to offer.
Yeah.
So that, hey, does my focus want to be on the mechs from Joy Toy? Do I want to focus on this new Warhammer stuff? Do I like the infantry guys a bit more? You know, so you kind of have to like test all that out, and you're like, okay, this is sort of where I want to focus.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started collecting, and my wife reminds me of this, collecting as an adult.
Yeah.
I really didn't know what that focus was. So I started picking up everything. I'm like, I'll take it Marvel and DC, and I'm going to get these NECAs, and, you know, I'll get this other stuff from SHF. And, you know, I'm just accumulating stuff. But then I look at it, I'm like, man, half of this I maybe don't really even care about.
Yeah.
So like then I started focusing. I'm like, okay, these are the things I care more about. These are the things I don't care so much. So I start offloading certain things. But when you're starting a new line like that, and that's how I kind of feel with Legions, I kind of just have to see the different scales, you know, the Brute scale, the Ogre scale, the Knights. Mm-hmm. They have the new Wizards now from Poxus. And then kind of figure out, okay, this is sort of where I want to focus, or this is the kind of stuff I like a bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that becomes that discovery phase. But it's hard to keep the focus there because you're like, okay, I'm in this discovery phase. I'm really liking it. Let me just go pick up all this other stuff.
Yeah, and that's where it's tricky because the discovery phase, you're diving into it, and then you have the potential of going in too hard. You're picking up everything. You're like, oh, I need I need some army builders, and then I need some mechanics, and I need a ton of mechs. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna end up with a bunch of boxes and not enough space. It's like, I need to get a good sample and then just like digest that and really let it marinate.
And with Joy Toy, don't they offer like and I know Acid Rain does this too. And that's the cool thing. You kind of mix those two lines a bit if you wanted to, and you really wouldn't notice. Yeah. But they both offer some kind of dial building stuff, right? Like
right. So yeah, they do. Joy Toy really offers like dial scenes, and you can just clip them all together. And that's kind of like, that's on my list. I'm just, as far as space and time, I'm like, I need to acquire more like mechs and a couple more infantrymen before I take that next leap. But I see myself getting there eventually, just because I've seen them in person. They're really cool.
Are you going to dabble in the Warhammer? Or are you going to?
I think so. Maybe like one or two, because there's a couple of characters out there that they look phenomenal.
They look good.
Yeah,
they look really good.
I'm
actually looking at BBTS right now.
I'm like, do I get one or two characters, or do I get? I think they have like a 4-pack, and man, they look really good.
Yeah, and then you got like the fear mechs, and I mean they're just kind of going all crazy. So you got like bad mechs, you got good mechs, and you have the whole Warhammer stuff. I feel like Warhammer could work really well with all of that.
Yeah.
You know, because I think Warhammer kind of, it's a weird mix of a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of all come together.
And that's really what's been calling to me. So it's like post-apocalyptic. It could be futuristic. It could be almost anywhere. It's like it fits any genre. You know, you can introduce whatever. So it's cool. That got me excited. I'm like, man, I'm going to need to take out the old camera and dust off the lens.
I would love to see you.
I've been talking about it for lots of episodes. I really need to I need to get down to it.
Well, I did see that you posted some new shots this last week.
Yeah.
And seems like you're getting some good feedback on those, which is great to see. You know, kind of shifting gears a little bit, and then we'll get right back into it. But that Mr. John's work with you and Lady Prime, dude, that's awesome. Really, really cool.
Man, blew my socks away. Like, it was just crazy. And he's so quick. He's so quick with that turnaround time where I didn't know what to expect. I knew it was going to be epic, but it's like, even though you have the bar set here, like my bar was set here. I'm like, oh, he's going to kill it. He's going to kill it. And then I'm hanging on, and he comes in, just bar goes right out. And I'm like, oh, man.
He's like, sorry, buddy, the bar is way up here.
Even way up here. Like, that bar is way too low. It was just
keep climbing.
Insane. Yeah, it was just like, man, I had a smile on my face from ear to ear all day. So it was crazy.
That is really cool that he did that for you. Yeah. Getting back into the grind, though.
Back to the grind.
Keeping that focus. One thing that you talked about, I think, is really cool, is that you discover new people when you get into new lines, because you know we get so focused on, I want to see comic stuff, you know, and so you follow all these people that do kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But just like you talked about with Joy Toy, with the Legions, I'm starting to discover a lot more photographers and people that are doing just some really cool stuff with Legions that I'm like, man, I didn't even think about, you know, scenes like this, or it makes me more inspired to probably start doing digiorama type stuff.
Okay.
Just because I have a lot more options for dios there, and you have to get really creative, with that kind of stuff. Because like you think about from maybe Lord of the Rings standpoint, if you're going to compare anything, the scenes and the backgrounds on that are so varied and different and just fantastical that if you're using like a cityscape, it's not really going to fit with the legions. So I've been looking at, talking about new items to collect. This last week, I went to a local toy shop called Polar Bears Pop Culture Shop. It's in Arizona. If you guys are local and you want to check it out, it's a really cool shop that's pretty close to me. But I also found a customizer there called Los Vikings Collectibles. They're on Instagram if you guys want to check them out. I think it's Los_Vikings_collectibles. Really cool guys. And they make these custom trees. So I've been wanting some trees so I can do outdoor shots or stuff that looks like it's in a forest. If you look at Jason V. Michael's page, he's great about switching up his environments a lot. He's always different environments every single time. He did Nemo stuff. That's or in the city or in a building somewhere or in a
in a kitchen. He's cooking up in a kitchen.
A forest setting.
A bar setting. He's all over the place.
He's constantly changing his backgrounds, but that adds so many tools to your toy photography, tool belt, that I don't have to just focus on cityscapes or stuff that's within a city because it's always Batman or something like that. So it works, but there's been that whole side to me that I haven't really been exploring. So that's Legion's just kind of a way of pushing me not only in my collecting, but also in my toy photography. So like you talked about, new items I'm collecting, new accounts I'm discovering, people that I'm meeting, and now it's the tricks that I'm going to start learning after I use these figures. So I'm excited for it. I think it's a cool change of pace. It's going to really challenge me to do something different, and it's going to change up my collection a bit too. So I think it's going to be fun.
That's the exciting part. Like right now you're seeing everyone with the Spider-Man retro wave, like it's flooded all over. And sometimes that's why, like, as much as I love the Legends and those figures are really great, it also reminds me to add diversity to my collection and to my feed, to add different accounts. I don't want to see 50, like my whole feed of just people picking up Black Suit Spider-Man like all day long. I'm like, okay,
it's old fast.
It gets old. Like by the third post or third person doing it, I'm done. And I'm like, I don't even want to go to the store because I'm probably gonna find them. I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm like, I'll just whatever. Like
that creates some of that FOMO, right?
Yeah.
You start seeing everybody, and you're like, I'm the only one that doesn't have Black Suit Spidey. And then you go on BBTS, you're like, I can't find him there. I'm gonna miss out on Black Suit Spidey. And you start to freak out. But this is Hasbro we're talking about.
Yeah, it's gonna be everywhere. Like I'm gonna see him at the liquor store.
Maybe. Yeah, you're gonna see it Circle K discounted, or maybe end up somewhere. Maybe not Symbiote, but
I'll see them at TJ Maxx or Ross or I'm not sweating at all. But I love seeing that type of like where everyone's excited for the figures. That's what I'm like. That's my biggest point is like the excitement behind that. Everyone's able to get them. You see everyone pick up. There's no issues with like scalpers getting them. He's not double the price. Everyone's getting them for retail. I freaking love that. The Peter B. Parker Sentinel. Everyone's getting them. Everyone knew that because of Miles, everyone should have jumped on that. I didn't, just because I was like, I'm good with the Mafex.
Right.
But there's a lot of FOMO behind. Now people are hunting down that Peter B. Parker from Sentinel, and he's really good. He if you have Miles, you knew what you were getting yourself into. And that's that's great excitement because I think it's reestablishing that bar of the type of quality for figures. The only thing that sucks is that the price. That price is getting creepier and it's creeping up higher and higher each month. Legends now $25 is average. Some of their deluxe is 30, 40. You're looking at $50 almost for a deluxe Legend, where you want to price your figure, you're looking at $100, and that's like, $100. Okay, that's almost the norm, and that's insane. $100 just for one figure.
It's crazy. You're completely right, though, man. It seems like prices for things continue to go up. Yeah. And it makes sense, though, because, inflation went up like crazy this last year. I think it was like a 6% increase.
I'm going to need a 12% increase on my raise, boss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
pay for that
At
on
least.
top of everything else. But yeah, I mean, the more you see premium figures like Mafex and Mezco
Yeah.
and other things like that, the more you're going to have other companies offering the same type of product, I think,
Mhm.
because they want a piece of that pie too.
Right.
You know, like, hey, they're charging $100 for Mezcos and they eat them up. People are eating them
Yeah.
up every single time.
And you know what's crazy is that those prices, because they've kind of established the new norm. Before, when I was just collecting Marvel Legends at $14.99 or $19.99, I remember when they were $7.99. Thinking
That is
about Hot
crazy.
Toys, that when they first came out, they were $7.99. But thinking about Hot
That is
Toys, I was like,
crazy.
I would never get a Hot Toy. Never. And
Jeez.
now I'm like, I'm on Sideshow Collectibles looking at, oh, what's gonna be my first Hot Toy? Like, because I'm on the price doesn't scare me now. Like
Yeah.
I've worked out and able to handle that Hot Toy price where I'm like, I'm deciding between the classic Spidey. Now I have like 2 or 3 Hot Toys that I want to get. That's insane. I'm like,
Yeah,
I should have stuck with my $7.99 Marvel Legends back in the 2000s.
Yeah, I remember the specific reason I passed on the Pink Skulls Chaos Club was because they were $275, and that was the most expensive Mezco they had ever offered.
Yeah. And look now.
It was a 3-pack, so
yeah.
But yeah, at the time I'm like, I can't spend $275 on figures.
And
I can't do that. Yeah, and then nowadays I'm like, oh god, like,
and
I
it's
don't
like
even look at.
when that price came out, I was like, it's the same figure 3 times. I'm not buying that. Like that's. Oh man, hindsight.
That's true. That's exactly how I felt. Like, why would I want the same figure 3 times? But you
Yep.
start thinking about it, like, okay, army builders makes a lot of sense. You know, obviously hindsight's 2020. So yeah, okay, we see the potential of the Pink Skulls. We see how much
Should have
Mezco
bought
has
3.
invested. Yeah, I mean they go for like $700 a set now. It's insane how much that's gone up.
And
It's
that's
really
a deal,
crazy.
$700.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's the sick part is that, like you said,
That's a deal.
The more you see these prices increase, the more people are like, $700 for PSCC? That's a great deal.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you, insane? That set was $300 when it released. You're spending $400 over retail now for that. But the rarity is really what speaks to people. So like that focus and having that goal, if PSCC is a goal that you've had, great. But if you just see PSCC drop and somebody's like, $600,
yeah,
you know, don't just jump on it because of the price.
Yeah.
You know, if that's not part of your goal for collecting, then you really, it's really, really hard to do. And we all go through it. We're like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And then all of a sudden an opportunity pops up and you're like, when's the next time I'm going to get a chance at this? I don't know, you know, but having a clear goal, like we're talking about, having a focus from the beginning of stuff that you know that you want and stuff that you know that you don't want can help you with those impulse buys, I think, because we all go through the impulse buy.
Yeah.
Where we see a good deal or we see someone selling something that we haven't seen sold for a while, or somebody like right now you're seeing really great prices on stuff just because people are trying to offload and make money because nobody has money right now. Pre-orders are dropping like crazy. So, you know, you got to try to stick to your guns on those goals and not waver from it. And it's like we talked about with budgeting. It's kind of the same discussion sometimes. Having a clear budget, having a clear goal for your collecting, it really will help you in the end. And I know it's not always a fun topic. You know, people don't like to talk about not buying figures because everybody, you know, it seems like the toy community most of the time is promoting the biggest hauls, the most money you can spend, getting as much stuff as possible. But I don't think that's always a healthy message. Like, hey, get this if you like it, but if you don't, you don't need it. You know, don't pay attention to FOMO so much.
Yeah, and there's like a whole, it's a Pandora's box when dealing with impulse buys because it's really hard. You know, collecting is definitely an addiction, and it can be an unhealthy
most
one.
Definitely.
But I think keeping it at the forefront of your mind and really telling yourself what's most important when it comes to my collection. Why do I do it? I do it because it's my hobby. I enjoy the character, or I enjoy the line, or I enjoy the interaction with my fellow collectors.
Yeah.
And sticking to that core instead of giving into the impulse buys because you want to keep up with the crowd. It makes you feel good for that moment when you give into it, right? You acquire the biggest haul. But a lot of times immediately after you post it or after you've done it, you're like, damn, now I gotta pay this. Or now it's like you don't feel as good. And the feeling's gone. And now you're looking for that. You're looking for that high again. And
Yeah.
we've all been there where I had lost a good chunk of my Legends collection, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back into Legends. And then I was acquiring what I had lost, but then I wanted to get the new stuff. And I was impulse buying on groups, on eBay, and packages were coming in every day. And I was just like, yeah, I'm feeling good. Because it's like
The wifey's like, what are you
And she's
doing?
like, what the hell? Or like, what's going on? And I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, and I was like raging out. I was like, yeah, I'm getting my
Get out of my way.
get out. Like, I was sniffing Legends, but then it creates problems, like inside you're like, I'm not feeling that great. Like I have all these boxes, I have all these figures, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm trying to fill this gap that I don't even know is there. And what is it like, and I think sometimes it's good just to pause and be like, you know what, like, let me ask myself these questions,
Right.
and kind of realign myself and be like, okay, what's my goal? Okay, here's my budget. Or I want to try this new line and really work on my photography. Let me take a look at what I currently have. And I know we go back to that, but I think it's just really sticking to that because it's so easy to give into everything, giving into the FOMO, giving into keeping up with the crowd, giving into whatever is currently selling. There's a lot of times where people will send me someone's story or if they're doing a live, they're like, oh, this guy got great deals, you got to buy them. And I was like, I have some of them, or I don't need those. Like, I'm not that big. Like, it's just, it's that type of the collection where we have to be aware of and just kind of keep it at bay.
Yeah, I think and when you can do that, I think you pass like a really important turning point in your collection when you can say, to your point, because I get that all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this. Look at these deals. Hey, this guy's selling all these Legends.
Get them.
Even jumping into Mario. He released a lot of. I was, there was some temptation in me. I'm like, man, some of these are rare Legends.
I was like, $5. Yes.
$5. You're charging $15 for all of these.
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome that he does such fair prices, but it makes it so tempting.
Right.
But if you can leave that stream and tell yourself, I did not buy anything, even
I don't
though
want
I
nothing
was
from this dealer. He's a junkie dealer. You don't want stuff from him.
You're gonna get broken figures, because he's always breaking stuff.
Yeah, or figures covered in resin.
Yeah, something like that, or maybe it's a waifu type situation. I don't know what's going on there, but just be careful. Just giving Mario a hard time, but seriously though, if you can go into something and not come out with $100 worth of figures, when you knew that you were tempted, you should give yourself a pat on the back because that's hard to do.
Yeah, that is.
It's hard to stay focused like that, and we do. We all kind of go through it. There's certain lines that I've moved away from that I start seeing deals on. I'm like,
or someone knocks down the price. They're like, hey, come on, what about this? I'll give you the buddy price. I was like, no, get out of here. I already have them. Get out of here.
Guilty.
I'm so tempted.
They're like, hey, for you, Prime.
Hey, and I was like, nope. That's gonna be my second one. I don't need it.
I did the $5 off and I left you alone. I'm like, no more. I'm not going to bother him anymore because I know he's trying to stay. I know he's trying to stay focused, and I should not be doing that to him. But yeah, I mean, I've been offloading a lot of stuff, and I will continue to do it, but I've stopped because, like I've told myself, it's not the best time to be selling. I really had to work at it to try to get that stuff gone. And it's great because I have all this extra money in PayPal now, which, from a budget standpoint, I'm not dipping into my wallet anytime soon, which is great.
Yeah.
And I got rid of stuff that's been sitting in boxes for months and months and months. And shout out to Max Fisher. I was talking to him today. He made a really good point. And I think it just really depends on what kind of collector you are and what you're really trying to do with your collection. But he said something, and I know Jason said this too, Jason B. Michael. But if he doesn't feel like he's going to get at least 5 shots out of a figure, he second guesses getting it,
Wow. Yeah.
Like if I don't have immediate inspiration for this figure or, for this line, whatever it is, I should probably stay away from it.
Yeah.
Because if I don't have inspiration, it's just going to sit around and not get shot.
Yeah.
And I feel that a lot with a lot of the stuff that I have. So that's what I'm trying to really look at from a selling standpoint. But I get people that reach out like, are you crazy? Like, why are you letting this stuff go? This stuff's rare. I'm like, it doesn't matter to me. Right. That's not why I'm collecting this stuff, to hold on to these rare items for the rest of my life. Yes, at the time I wanted it, and yes, it's cool, but I've gone through my course of using it, or the interest is no longer there for me. So I'd rather get it in somebody's hands that can do something with it. and keep that focus and keep that goal for myself by not spending too much money. That's another goal, so how do I do that? Sell other stuff to fund other stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's another thing. As we talk about new figures, we've got all these new movies that are coming out, which is really gonna make things hard. Unless it's McFarlane with the new Batman stuff, I've got no temptation there whatsoever. I'm tired of the side eye.
He's shown some of his stuff, and it's like, I'll get that bike. That's about it.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of extra temptation. We got this new Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I think, is coming out.
Yeah,
the new Miles movie.
Yeah, and it's that that movie's going to be epic. It's going to be awesome. I love Into the Spider-Verse, probably one of my favorites. Yeah. And hopefully new figures come out of that. Again, if Sentinel and even Mayfix do some more figures from that movie, it's going to be another home run.
Yeah, seriously. And you got Morbius coming out. We already have a Morbius figure on the way from Mezco.
Right.
Which comes with some cool accessories. One of the reasons why I was interested in it.
Yeah. But and Legends is going to do like the MCU version of Morbius, right? You would think they would do if it's a Sony movie, they still would do because it's not a Marvel.
Yeah, because they do No Way Home stuff.
And they did
Venom.
That's
all Sony. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they should do like a Morbius wave.
I think because Marvel has the rights to that stuff too. Yes, Sony owns the property. Yeah. But they share the rights with Marvel now, so I think that's how they kind of get. That's like their little loophole.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is still owned by Disney technically.
So we'll get a Morbius wave. We'll get a. I was about to say Jay Leno, a Jared Leto. I was about to say it. We're gonna get a Jay Leno figure.
He's gonna be like,
hey. He's like, hey guys, starting beating Mario. Hey, you want
to? No, it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Oh,
I'm gonna take the Kevin approach. Nah, didn't happen.
It happened.
I don't know why he was so determined to prove that did not happen.
That was crazy. So if we get a Jay Leno figure out of a Morbius wave, I'll be, hey, sign me up. I'll buy 2 Jay Lenos.
I think you might be the only one that buys a Jay Leno figure in a Morbius wave.
When everyone's expecting a Jared Leto.
They're like, what the hell is this? Well, why is Jay Leno even here? But yeah, you got that. You got the new Flashpoint movie. You got the Black Adam movie. You got Multiverse of Madness coming. The Thor Love and Thunder movie. Wakanda Forever.
So like Legends is going to – MCU stuff. They can do comic stuff because a lot of times that's what they've been doing. Like they'll give you an MCU line and they'll give you some comic stuff. So it's seeing that those movies are on and without dealing with all the leaks because there's been lists and stuff. That part sucks because it takes the excitement out. Like I try not to look at those leaks, but just seeing that the list of movies, we know what movies are coming out. Just the anticipation of what figures, because not only Legends, but other properties like Mezco can take their own take on some of these, or Super 7, or
like you said, Mayfix.
Mayfix,
they've been offering some MCU stuff. I think they did a Thor.
I'm
pretty sure they have a Doctor Strange coming, so I could see them doing more MCU type stuff. SHF for sure. They're always in competition with each other. Those two companies, I feel like, because they offer very similar products. But yeah, even like third party, third party's getting bigger now too. So I think because
that Black Adam, like I'm thinking if the Shazam was from Mayfix, it was a pretty good Shazam. I don't have them, but I've seen reviews and I've seen pictures. A Black Adam would be right up there with them,
And I could see Mezco doing another Shazam and another Black Adam because that was one of their original DC comic figures. We haven't seen those in a long time, and they're pretty highly sought after.
Those are solid. I just wish Black Adam would have came with more accessories. That's it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing. I would say my only downfall is that Black Adam comes with literally nothing. You get a lightning effect, his cape, and some hands.
Yeah, like you get these.
Yeah, the flight hands
and a fist. Yeah, I wish it would have came with an alternate head.
Yeah, like Shazam came with
3 head sculpts.
He came with the 3 head sculpts, and then he came with the robot head that had like the finger grip in it. So it looks like he's like crushing it as he's holding it. Yeah. And then you get the
what's caterpillar. I don't know what.
What's the bug's name? His name's Mind.
Oh yeah, it's
what the hell is it?
You're the DC guy.
I know. I don't know. I'll have to look that up because I can't remember what the name is.
Yeah.
From Shazam.
And he comes out at the end of the Shazam.
Mr.
Too.
Mind.
Mr.
Yes. I knew it was Mind something. Mr. Mind. I've actually done a shot with him. But yeah, I think Mezco will probably reintroduce that. And maybe, depending on who shows up in Black Adam, you're going to see some other characters probably with that too.
Yeah.
It's going to be the new Flash with the Michael Keaton Batman. Hopefully we get, I think that movie might release before the Mezco gets released.
Yeah. I was about to say that. I was like, I'm here waiting to take my Keaton 89 to go see that movie so you can sit with me. And I want to have the printout, my pre-order.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll take my phone with a picture and be like, that's even better. Got it.
Yeah, I'm over here with like a piece of paper. I can have it on my phone.
God, I hope not. But isn't that movie, I don't even know when that Flashpoint movie comes out, but I know it's fairly soon. Yeah. Maybe May or June, which is around the same time that Keaton Batman's supposed to come out. If it doesn't get delayed again.
Man, it's like, come on.
Yeah. Crazy, dude. But yeah, hopefully that helps some of you guys. I know there's some of you guys have been around here for a while. You're like, yeah, I'm doing this now because I listened to you guys before. But I've received DMs from younger collectors, other people that are starting to get into the game. And I know it can be very overwhelming if you are not a seasoned veteran of the collecting world. Because if you've been in for a while, you kind of know how to filter certain things out. But if you're just coming in new, everything is just getting flooded. People are telling you, buy this, buy that, buy this. It's just like, whoa, I don't know what to do. So just before you buy anything, have a goal for your collection. What is it that you want to acquire? What is it, if you're a toy photographer, that you want to shoot? If you're a dial maker, what kind of dials you want to make for your figures? I think that's something that's really cool that Mario does, is that he kind of makes dials around his collecting a little bit,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or like prop pieces, things like that. So just have that goal. I think it can really help you stay focused in your collections and not get out of control, because it can happen really fast, faster than you might think.
Yep.
Cool. Great topic, man. I like that.
Thanks.
Moving into pre-orders. I feel like it's been a bit light on pre-orders recently. I don't know if you feel the same way.
I mean, I always feel like there's always something up for pre-order.
That's true. Yeah,
like
I mean,
party, like we got that croc that's been hitting everywhere.
Oh yeah, the 5K Toys croc.
Yeah, the 5K toy stuff.
I think it's made by the same people that make
that Leonardo.
The turtle that went up, the Leo turtle, which I hope we get all four. I think we are. But it's the same maker of that. So he looks great, man. He looks really good. Let me see if I can share it, actually. Let's talk through it real quick. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so you got this croc, same sculptor as the Samurai Turtles.
Yeah, he looks really good.
I think this almost looks better, and dare I say it, I'm going to get some haters. I think it looks better than some of the NECA stuff, really.
Yeah, it looks it looks just so realistic, I mean, that's Leatherhead right there.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a really cool, realistic Leatherhead.
Yeah, I mean, it looks awesome. I mean, it looks really good, and the sculpting's great. I mean, you can see all the crazy detail. I hope it comes out like this. It looks like he has an articulated jaw.
Yeah.
He's got the hand chains here. I don't know when this goes up, but I think it's going to be fairly certain. I like how they have him in this like swimming pose. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just to show you the dynamic range. Yeah. And there's the Leo we're talking about. But yeah, this looks good. I'll definitely be looking for that. What else? We've got the Super 7 Andre the Giant. You're not really a collector of wrestling stuff, are you?
No. I mean, I was, as a kid, I was really into wrestling, like Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, all that stuff. Generation X, I was really into a bit. Like, it was a quick phase for me. Once I grew out of it, I was like,
Yeah. That's kind of the same way. I didn't really get heavy into wrestling, but I know there's a lot of people that are really heavy into wrestling, and I know Super 7 has done some wrestling figures before, so I think this is an expansion on that line, and they're doing a pretty iconic character here with Andre the Giant, also known as the eighth wonder of the world. But yeah, that's cool. I mean, it comes with some different. I mean, not a ton of accessories. I'm surprised this seems a bit more limited compared to some of the other Super 7 stuff.
Yeah.
You get some hands, a head, and looks like a beer.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see that they're expanding the line because I'm sure there's some collectors out there that want this.
Yeah.
Last one I want to talk about is the Leonardo Hunchback. Man, the sculpting is it's really insane on these NECAs.
It is.
I feel like they did my Leo a little dirty here by giving him a hunchback.
I think he got what he just deserved.
I think Kevin said he put something in the story that was like, yeah, this go figure, Leo's the hunchback.
Yep, makes sense.
But I mean, he just looks
cool,
insane. It's like in this shelf detail, you can see how the swords go through it. This is all individual props too. So you can take all this stuff out. You can organize it a little bit differently, but just such a cool idea to utilize the shell into the figure.
Yeah.
You can see the padlock on the side. Just really great, like little details. The flames on the sword. What else? Just I don't know. I'm really blown away by these Universal Monsters figures.
Are you getting
really
them?
Look great. I think I'm gonna have to get this Leo for sure. I got the Raph. I got the Leo.
Yeah. You have to get all 4.
It's just one of those things. Like, when are you gonna see that again? You know?
That's true.
Never. Like,
It's
how long did it take him?
Yeah.
Yeah, they haven't revisited Universal Monsters since the Playmates line, so I don't think we're gonna be seeing these again anytime soon. I want to see it in hand, but with that Raph, he just looks really good. And then one thing I noticed through these pictures is they gave us a little bit of a sneak peek at what's to come.
Oh.
So you got April O'Neil as the Bride of Frankenstein, and then one of these is Mikey as the Mummy. And oh no, that's him right there. So yeah, I don't know who the hell these two are.
Huh.
But one of them's got to be Donatello.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen him yet. But there's Mikey the Mummy right there.
That's cool.
So maybe there's a Shredder. I feel like somebody's wearing a hat right here or something. I don't know what that is, but that might be like a Shredder. I don't know. Maybe we get like a Van Helsing type character. Maybe that could be like a Casey Jones is like Van Helsing. That would be cool. But yeah, I mean, for anybody that's getting into that line, it looks like they're going to go pretty deep with it. At least 6 figures to start.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Damn it.
You're like, shit. Staying focus is not working now.
It's hard. Hold on, pre-order.
Yeah.
No.
You're right. Any other pre-orders that you want to talk about?
No, I think that was the only one I had on was that NECA.
Any Joy toys that have been released recently that are tempting you?
Oh, there's a lot on. It's a lot of that Warhammer stuff.
Yeah. It's gonna be rough for you, man.
Yeah, a lot of Warhammer stuff, and they got these new mechs and these other. And I've shared them on my stories and stuff where I got a lot of good reaction, and some of it is like, "Damn, it's 118," or "Oh, I'm gonna have to try this new scale." It's a fun scale. It's a fun scale.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right, moving into Plastic Confessions.
I have.
Are you getting another token this week?
No, I have.
You do.
Confession, yes.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah. So it is a Joy toy. I ended up getting one of the Battle of the Stars, First Legion Steel, and I ended up getting Ice Sword, and it's the white one. He has that white armor. So there is 4 different colors. There's like a white, steel, red, and green. So I'm just trying to see like, okay, which am I going to get? All 4 colors? Am I going to get 2 colors? I'm going to build them. Yeah, those are fun. So that's my pickup for this week.
And what do you think about it? Like in hand, is it more impressive, less impressive? What do you think?
It always blows me away. It always blows me because the paint application on there is just epic, and the details. So it's like now I'm like, okay, if do I need more of these because it's a white armor, I'm like I can take them to the snow. I can do outdoors. Yeah. I'm like, and all the other colors complement each other too because the others are steel, red, and green, and I'm like, damn, I don't have to need all 4. And BBTS does have a 4-pack of all different 4 colors, but it's like I'm gonna need multiples of them. I'm gonna need more than just one white one and one.
You're gonna be seeing a lot of mechs in the near future with Prime. It sounds like, but that's cool, man. I can't wait to see them. I saw them in store like I told you, and I was tempted to grab them. But yeah, my local store seems like they're getting some of the newer stuff. So if you ever need one, let me know. I can always hunt for you.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I'm glad to see that you're not getting another token this week, even though it's not a bad thing to get a token.
It's not. So sometimes tokens come in handy. You can waste them at the arcade.
There you go. Boom. That was an amazing segue. That's a new shirt, by the way. Shirt. Talking about new things to talk about.
This was
figurebooth.com.
Came in.
Yeah, that's another confession. Yeah, so we got, if you want to represent Prime, or if you just like his logo and you want a t-shirt of it, you can find those shirts at figurebooth.com. And I think he's offering you got like long sleeve, you've got hoodies, you even have like women's style shirts as well. And then we've got the classic Figure Booth tee. So if you guys remember when we first started on Spotify, we had the actual booth. That was the first logo we ever did. So we did a t-shirt of that. We've got a Spreading Rumors and Starting Beef shirt, because that's what we're known for here, at least for me. And then we also have a Plastic Confessions t-shirt as well. So if you want to represent that you have Plastic Confessions, wear that around town, you can get that there. Yeah. But yeah, go to thefigurebooth.com, check it out. If you grab one, wear it and post it in your story. We'll share it and just give you mad props. Thank you, everybody that has purchased a shirt already. We appreciate it. Really means a lot to us. But yeah, just a nice segue for that. Going back into Plastic Confessions, great timing because this actually arrived today.
Nice.
I did not want to go through the hunt of this figure, and it's definitely a Spidey I was interested in. I'm trying to tell myself not to get the Mafex because I have this. Trying to control my budget a little bit. But I finally got...
look at that. I didn't see it on my feed today.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't post it in my feed. I'm leaving it out of the feed. Maybe I'll post something. But yeah, he looks great. Symbiote Spidey. Looks great in hand.
I love that freaking packaging.
Yeah, I love it. I almost don't want to open it up. Somebody I saw open this and didn't damage it at all. They just had the bubble gone.
Yeah.
So you just slice it around here?
Slice on the bottom.
Around the bottom.
Or you can slice it at the very bottom and then do a little.
I didn't think about that.
Like a U on the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looks great. And then because I missed out on the Mafex, I got the Ben Reilly as well.
Oh, nice.
He's pretty dope too. He's in the same wave.
I got the whole the whole wave on pre-order from Dorkside, so I'm just waiting. Patiently
I was
waiting.
tempted to get the whole wave. I was very tempted to get the whole wave.
No, I'm a huge Spidey fan, so I was like, give me the whole wave.
Yeah, I mean, this wave is stacked,
it's
dude.
Solid.
You get the Billy Moon Spidey, Hammerhead, Symbiote, Hobgoblin, and then Shocker.
Yeah, you can't ask for a better wave.
I think I was talking about this before the podcast, but I think the only reason why you haven't received yours yet is I think for some reason Hobgoblin seems to be kind of lagging a bit in their stock, because when you go to dorkside.com, that's the only one that doesn't show currently in stock. It still shows as a pre-order, and some of those aren't even in stock anymore. I mean, I'm glad I got that Symbiote because it seems like it's kind of selling out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Or like we talked about though, it's Hasbro. I feel like they're going to at least do one more wave of that. But yeah, that's the only stuff I have for this week as far as Plastic Confessions.
There you go. Not a bad one.
Not bad at all. Definitely more Spidey, and I've been doing some Spidey stuff. I still have that set up, so I actually might break this guy out and see if I can get a shot on that same setup I've been using with the side of the building and stuff. So that's definitely an inspiration for me.
Nice.
Going into Nasty Nate's Dirty Trick for the week.
Here we go.
So this one, I think I talked about it with Toying Around when I was talking with Kevin on my recent unboxing Thursdays. If you guys missed that, go check it out. I had a lot of fun with Kevin, just talking toys, toy collecting, toy photography, and unboxing some figures. So if you missed it, go check it out. It was a great time with Kevin. Went by so fast. I was like, man, these streams usually go for 4 or 5 hour, I think it averages about 2.5 to 5 hours, unless it's, like Enablers is maybe the only one that goes for 5 hours. But I started to think, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to fill up that time. But dude, it went so quick.
Yeah.
By the time we were done, I was like, wow, it's already been 2.5 hours. Anyways, on that stream, we're talking about lighting. And he'd asked me something about diffusing light. And for anybody that's new to toy photography, diffusing light is like, you're putting a filter over your light. So most lights tend to be very strong and a little bit too intense, especially if you're using like daylight bulbs or something like that. And people tend to think that, okay, the only way I can diffuse this is buying like one of those professional light boxes, which you don't need to do that. If you have computer paper, or if you have like an old white t-shirt, even of an old white towel, you can tie that around the light. Like if you have a lamp, like for a long time I was using desk lamps with daylight bulbs. So what I would do is I would take a piece of computer paper, actually have one over here, and then you take your lamp and you just wrap it around it and then tape it so that you're diffusing your light still through that paper, and it makes a huge difference. And it also helps spread the light out a little bit more.
Nice.
So it's not so intense in one area, because if that's, if you're just kind of starting out and you don't have a whole lot of options, sometimes all you have is maybe one or two desk lamp lights, and you want to have one that's stronger, one that's a little bit weak. It's great for spreading light around a scene. So if you want to do it from like the top and diffuse it, it's a great way to light and do that ring lighting for your figures. So I recommend that for anybody that's listening. If you're trying to find ways to diffuse your light, use computer paper or an old shirt or towels. Don't go out and buy light boxes. Like, I get why people do that, and it makes it a lot easier. I just feel like that's a bit overkill for what we're doing with toy photography. If you've got human subjects that are that big, okay, I can see it. But for toy photography, unless you're getting one that's like super small, it seems a little bit overkill. And those are usually pretty expensive. So I don't want to spend that kind of money on toy photography. So I just started looking at cheaper options, and that's been really helpful for me. So hopefully that helps you guys out. Just finding different ways to diffuse your light.
Nice. It's a good one.
Thank you. Last but certainly not least is the Spotlight Figure Aficionado.
Here we go. Hey-yo.
Yeah. For anybody uninitiated, the Figure Aficionado is a way for me and Josh to recognize different guys out in the community that are doing some awesome work with toy photography. Maybe they're big, maybe they're not. We try to recognize people that usually don't have a huge following, because those guys don't need as much help. For this week, he's been a guy that I've been a big fan of his toy photography. Recently been talking to him a bit more through DMs, but I feel like this guy really deserves more followers than he has now. And he's just done some amazing work. Let me pull him up as I'm introducing him so we can share it together.
We're doing this together.
For any viewers, for any audio listeners, I'm pulling up his page.
There we go.
But his name is Rad Toyologist. Big TMNT fan, but he also does all kinds of stuff. He's a radiologist by day and a toy enthusiast by night. So that's kind of a cool job.
That's really cool. Yeah.
But
that's
awesome.
This
master chef idea is really funny. I got a good crack out of that. He does a lot of really cool stuff with turtles. You can see this Wolverine shot. X-Men. He did this really cool X-Men shot with the team fighting Juggernaut. He did this awesome shot that got featured by NECA.
That's a really cool shot.
Yeah, it's kind of like a recreation of the Aliens movie cover.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Really, really awesome idea. Just super creative guy. I mean, this Christmas with the turtle shot was insane.
Wow.
Really came out great. I love how he used all these little toys from other things. You can see Raph got a bit of coal in this one.
That's
just kind of funny. He's pissed off about that. But yeah, I mean, you start scrolling through this guy's feed and he's just nonstop creativity.
Yeah.
I don't know how he gets some of these ideas. I love this bebop head as like they're eating it for dinner or something. You get that Super 7 bebop head and they're all like, yeah, this is great. Let's cut it up and eat it. But just super creative guy. I love his work. Really great lighting ideas and just execution. He's I feel like he's firing on all cylinders. He's really doing a great job. If you have not for some reason found Rad Toyologist, please go check him out on Instagram. He does an amazing work. He's really pumping out some great content, dude. I think you're You're an awesome photographer. You're definitely one that I look forward to their work. So keep doing what you're doing, dude.
Yeah,
killing
great
it.
job.
Yeah, absolutely killing it.
That's a good figure aficionado for the week.
Yeah, I agree. And like we talked about, we've said this before, we don't get a lot of DMs about it, but if you guys want us to recognize a figure aficionado, somebody in the toy community that you don't think is getting proper attention, that you just wants a quick shout out, just give us a DM, let us know, because we'd like to hear from you guys and other people that maybe we're not exposed to. That's what this is all about, trying to get the word out and discover new accounts. So let us know what you guys think, because we'd love to hear from you. But that's pretty much it, right?
That brings us to the conclusion. We're at our last stop. You guys have been with us throughout this whole little ride tour. We appreciate you guys. Time over and time again, I enjoyed the time that we come up with these topics and we have these great conversations, and the feedback you guys are giving us, that's I mean, for me, that's what keeps me going. It's awesome. I oftentimes go back and check out on the channels our previous videos and check out the comments. There is a whole nother group is being established, and I've seen some of the comments, and it cracks me up because it's like the replay gang, and like some people go in there like, hey, we're catching this again, the replay gang, and I've seen it already a couple times. I'm like, oh man, that's gonna be that's eventually I can see that as a shirt. Hey, I'm the replay gang. So I love it. I love you guys going down there, hitting the like button, putting your comments, whether you're watching it when we first drop it or on the replay or watching it again for the second time. But just sharing your thoughts with us and how you resonated, what you liked, what you didn't like. I love it all. As always, guys, I've been your host, Josh, aka Prime to the First. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all under Prime to the First.
And yeah, I can't echo enough what Prime talked about. The DMs that we get, the comments on our posts, the comments on YouTube. I love reading that stuff. I love to hear what's resonating with you, what you like, maybe even what you don't like. If there's something you don't like about what we're talking about, I want to hear that too.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of great feedback about the budgeting episode, and just people are like, I'm so glad that you're talking about this because I feel like it's something I need to focus on.
Yeah.
Or, even what we talked about in the last episode. So leave those comments like we're talking about. You can see below. Hit that like button. It means a lot to us. We appreciate all your support so far, guys. And I have been Nate, aka FigureFan_Nate. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Nice.
And thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. You've been listening to The Figure Booth.